Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you guys my WWE United Kingdom Championship special review. I know this video is going up very late because this show aired probably like a little bit under a month ago. But I'm just now getting a chance to review it. Well, the reason is because when this show came on, I was just dealing with a lot of stuff. I had to study for my finals to finish off school. I ended up going to Texas around this time. Could never make the time to sit down and watch it. And then when I came back, I had the technical issues going on with my laptop. And then once I got those fixed, I had to finish other videos from last week. And then I ended up, having to get prepared for my grandmother's retirement party and my friend's brother's graduation party. So I'm finally now getting a chance to sit down and review it. I'm actually pretty happy about it. I really don't know what to expect coming out of this show, but I'll talk about that in a second. But the way I'm going to structure this review is there's some matches that aired on the YouTube exclusives that I'm going to be covering. I'm probably going to cover those all in separate takes. And then when I start watching the actual show itself, after each match or segment, I'll come on here and talk about them. So that's how that's going to be structured. But like I said, don't really know any other matches. One match I do know we're going to get is we're going to get Pete Dunne versus Trent 7, where the winner will face Tyler Bate for the United Kingdom Championship at NXT Takeover Chicago. But other than that, those are the only things I know. One thing I'm really excited about watching the show is we get to hear Jim Ross on commentary for this show. Jim Ross recently has been signed by WWE as a part-time commentator. He will, and I think it's cool that he's not working full shows because one, he probably, because of his age, can't work all those shows, and another reason he's probably not working all these shows is because they want to put him in for like special events. The last time he commentated WWE wise was at WrestleMania 33 in the main event, and now he's going to be commentating this entire show, which I'm really damn excited about. Yeah, I can't wait to hear Jim Ross commentate because he's a nice old school commentator. He's somebody that knows what the hell he's doing when he is commentating, so I'm really excited for that. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to start watching the actual show now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and let's get right into it. Okay, so first thing that happens is Pete Dunne gets interviewed by Charlie Caruso, and she asks him how he feels about his match with Sam Gradwell, and how Sam Gradwell feels that this is just more than a business, it's personal. And he says that Sam Gradwell may feel that tonight's match is personal, but all he did was just stand in his way of becoming United Kingdom champion. And he says that if Sam Gradwell wants to come at him, we'll see what happens, and then that was it. Overall, I thought Pete Dunne cut a pretty good promo. He's actually pretty good on the mic. I think he's pretty enjoyable. I like the way he presents himself as a destroyer. So overall, I enjoyed this. It was a nice way to build up the match between Pete Dunne and Sam Gradwell. Okay, so next, Charlie Caruso interviews Sam Gradwell, and she gets asked how he feels about going up against his match against Pete Dunne, and he says that Pete Dunne took something from him that he can never get back, because he says that at 100%, he has no doubt that he would have become the first ever United Kingdom champion, and he says that Pete Dunne took that from him, and he says that he commends Pete Dunne for making a name for himself on his first night, but he made a mistake making a name for himself at his expense, and he's going to make him pay for that. He talks about how he, beat the crap out of him so bad that his grandmother could hear it during the United Kingdom Championship tournament, and he says that tonight he's going to fill in Pete Dunne. I actually thought he cut a pretty solid promo. I think Sam Gradwell is pretty talented, so I thought he cut a good promo here. Okay, so next, Charlie Caruso interviews Trent 7, and he talks about his match going up against Wolfgang, who ended up eliminating him from the United Kingdom Championship tournament. and he talks about how tonight, how in Blackpool there were 2 wonderful Danes, but it was much too short for him. And he says that tonight he's going to hit Wolfgang with the 7-star lariat and defeat him, and then he's hoping that will put him in good standing to become the United Kingdom champion. And when he wins that championship, he's going to have it hidden up on the mantle on Mustache Mountain. And the one thing that Trent 7 definitely has is he's definitely got charisma and personality. I definitely see him in there, and I think he's good in that regard. So overall, I enjoyed this promo here. Okay, so we had the first YouTube actual exclusive match. It was Sam Gradwell versus Pete Dunne, and for this YouTube exclusive, we had Nigel McGuinness and Jim Ross on commentary for it. I think they're going to be probably doing commentary for the actual UK special itself. And I thought they did a very good job on commentary. What Jim Ross does really well is he does really well calling the moves, but he also talks about the history of each performer. He also likes to talk about why the move hurts and what makes it hurt, which I think he does a great job at. So I'm really glad they had Jim Ross. I thought Nigel McGuinness, obviously it makes sense for him to be there because he's knows probably all of these competitors in this that are going to probably be wrestling on this special, and also too the reason is because he was there when he was on commentary when the United Kingdom Championship tournament was going on. Gives you that kind of England commentator, so I thought he was it worked. He wasn't acting like his heel self though, like he normally does in NXT. He acted like he was also a face commentator as well. Jim Ross was the play-by-play guy. They were both kind of playing play-by-play guy roles. But we had the actual match itself, and the match starts off. Gradwell charges Dunn into the corner and beats the crap out of him. Pete Dunne tries to fight back, but Gradwell hits a uppercut, and he goes for a high cross body, but Pete Dunne rolls out of the ring. So instead, Gradwell hits a high cross body outside the ring, and then he hits a suicide dive through the ropes, and he goes to hit a suplex onto Pete Dunne onto the stage, but Pete Dunne escapes, and Gradwell goes to go after him. He goes on top of the steps, and Pete Dunne takes a cheap shot, and he puts he bounces he separates Gradwell's hands, really putting some pressure on him. He puts his hand inside the steel, well, I should say his fingers actually. He puts his hand inside the steel steps and stomps on it, and he really starts to work over the injured hand of Sam Gradwell. He gets him into a hammerlock submission. He does the thing where he separates his middle finger, and he just really starts working over the injured hand. He hits a body slam while his hand was behind him. And, you know, Pete Dunne just really dominated the matchup, working over the injured hand. Sam Gradwell hit a wicked uppercut onto Dunne. He hit a discus clothesline right at the throat of Pete Dunne, and Sam Gradwell started to make his comeback. But Pete Dunne he hits a suplex, but Pete Dunne kicks out of it. Then he hits a couple of splashes in the corner. He goes to run off the ropes, but Pete Dunne catches him into an enziguri into the corner, and then he hits a slam himself, and then they both just start exchanging blows. Pete Dunne tries to go off the top rope. Sam Gradwell catches him into an uppercut, and Pete Dunne goes for the bitter end, but Gradwell counters into a roll-up, and then eventually Pete Dunne hits an enziguri on him, but Pete Dunne's able to kick out of it, and then they're on the outside. Pete Dunne goes to hit a dive through the ropes, but Gradwell catches him into an uppercut, and he hits a sidewalk slam onto the apron, and then he goes to hit another crossbody in the win, but Dunne catches him into a forearm, and then he hits the bitter end for the win, and it made sense, obviously, because he had that #1 contenders match coming up against Trent 7. It made sense for him to win. But overall, I thought this was a good match here. White person went over, and, you know, it had enough story behind it. The commentary was great, so overall, I enjoyed this match. Okay, so next match was Trent 7 versus Wolfgang. I thought this was a decent little match here. Same people on commentary. And what I forgot to mention is the way they have this arena set up is pretty cool. I don't know if this is just because it's a live event, but they have like spotlights around the ring, and they have like the setup like it's like a live event. but you can still hear Jim Ross and Nigel McGuinness commentary. They probably taped it over it. I don't know if this is going to be like that when I actually watch the United Kingdom Championship special. I really don't know. But we had the match itself. I thought the match itself was quite good. Pete Dunne and, not Pete Dunne, Wolfgang and Trent Seven start chain wrestling each other. Trent Seven gets the upper hand, and he knocks Wolfgang out of the ring with a chop, and he goes to hit like a headbutt through the ropes, but Wolfgang counters into a right hand, and then he starts to hit a, and then he hits like a headlock, but Trent Seven counters it into a back suplex, and then Trent Seven gets him into a headlock, and Wolfgang takes his arm out, and he pretty much dominates the matchup from there. But then they start going back and forth. Trent Seven goes for that lariat, but Wolfgang counters into a boot to the face, and then he hits a clothesline himself, and he covers him, but Wolfgang kicks out. And Trent Seven hits a couple of chops in the corner. Wolfgang targets the injured arm, and he hits a like a kick right to the ribs, and he just really starts to go after the arm. Wolfgang goes for Trent Seven goes for a move off the top rope, but Wolfgang cuts him off, and he goes for a superplex, but Trent Seven counters into a power bomb, covers him. Wolfgang kicks out, and Trent Seven turns it into a half Boston Crab, and he has this move on, but because of the damage done to the right arm, he just can't keep the move on. And then Wolfgang hits a wasteland into a moonsault off the second turnbuckle, covers him. Trent Seven kicks out. Trent Seven goes for the 5-star lariat. Wolfgang ducks it, hits a spear on him, covers him. Trent Seven kicks out, and then Wolfgang hits a gutbuster, covers him. Trent Seven still kicks out. Then he goes for the howling, which is like a swanton bomb. But Trent Seven gets the knees up, and Trent Seven hits a inverted hammer driver for the win. And yeah, I like the way he won. He didn't necessarily use his finisher because he realized his arm was too hurt, so he had to improvise. I liked that. And the match, you know, both people were face, but I think the fans were more behind Trent Seven, so the Wolfgang kind of acted like the heel here. Obviously, it made sense for Trent Seven to win since he's facing Pete Dunne in the United Kingdom Championship #1 Contenders match. Yeah, and the match at least had some type of meaning behind it because of the United Kingdom Championship tournament. I thought the match was a decent little match here. And that's the end of the YouTube exclusives. I like that they showed these because this gave fans a taste of what to expect during the United Kingdom Championship special. So I like that they showed these, and these matches probably weren't matches that were going to make the cut, so I'm glad that they got these matches out there because I thought they were good enough to show. And now I'm going to start actually watching the special itself. Okay, so we have the actual special itself. It shows a nice little video package hyping up the special, which I thought was great. It shows the United Kingdom Championship tournament itself. You know, Tyler Bate becoming the first ever United Kingdom champion. And the competitors talk about what it means to them that this tournament happened. You know, you had competitors like Mark Andrews talking about how it's changed his life. You know, Trent Seven talks about how he was wrestling all over other wrestling shows, and now he's made it to WWE because of this tournament. Wolfgang talks about how now people recognize him now because of the tournament. You know, Tyler Bate talks about how he got to wrestle, you know, in NXT and defend the championship. Pete Dunne talks about how he gets to work with all the big names in WWE. You know, Tyler Bate also talks about how he got to go to WrestleMania and stuff like that. And it shows the first ever United Kingdom Championship match between Trent Seven and Tyler Bate on NXT. Then they talk about how now that Tyler Bate is United Kingdom Champion, they're going to be, he has a target on his back. You know, and Trent Seven talks about how he wants to be the face of WWE and the United Kingdom, but that goal was incomplete without the United Kingdom Championship. Joesph talks about how it disgusts him that he let somebody else win that United Kingdom Championship. Mark Andrews talks about how he wants to show the world his skills. Pete Dunne talks about how he wants to dominate and talks about and become the United Kingdom champion. So overall, I thought this was a great video package to really hype up this special. I thought it was fantastic. Okay, so then we had the actual show itself. This time we had the same people on commentary, but this time they were actually at the arena. I don't know. I know it's taking place somewhere in the UK. I don't exactly know where because this show was kind of a while ago, so I don't remember. If I remember, I'll say it. Kind of had the same setup. They didn't have as much spotlight this time because I think because it wasn't only airing on YouTube, so I think that might have been why. But we had the first match on the show. It was Wolfgang versus Joesph Connors, and before the match, each guy got a little video package, and Wolfgang talks about you know, what he had to go through. I kind of like that they showed these because it's been probably it's been a few months since you've seen really any of these guys, so it kind of gave you a chance to reintroduce them. You know, Wolfgang talked about how 2 weeks before he was called to compete in the United Kingdom Championship. He was a bartender, and it was a huge dream come true. But when he didn't win the United Kingdom Championship, he felt like that he let himself and his family down. And he says that that's made him stronger, and it makes him more willing to want to win the United Kingdom Championship. Joesph Connors, we find out that he's just an insane person. Like, he just is sick, he's twisted. His style was just so twisted that he ended up losing half an ear doing a ball fight. And he talked about how he was ecstatic to be competing in the United Kingdom Championship tournament. And how he came this close to winning the United Kingdom Championship. Then he talks about how he's sickened that he let it slip through his fingers and he had somebody else win the tournament. But he says that it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And I'm going to finish this year in a big way by becoming the new United Kingdom champion. So I kind of like it. It was like a nice little introduction. And the match itself I thought was a good opening matchup for the show. Wolfgang dominates the first half of it. He hits a drop kick, which right onto Connors, which was actually pretty cool. And he dominates the first half of it. He goes to go off the top rope, but Joesph Connors pushes him off, and Connors hits a drop kick, and he ends up falling ribs first, like into the barricade, and then Connors hits a drop kick through the ropes, and Joesph Connors throws him back first into the apron, and Connors starts dominating the ribs of Wolfgang. He pulls him like into the turnbuckle, and he hits a basement drop kick right into the not the turnbuckle, but the ring post. And eventually Wolfgang starts to make a little bit of a comeback. He hits a big back body drop onto Joesph Connors. He hits a high cross body into the corner, an axe handle off the top turnbuckle, and then he goes for the wasteland. But Connors counters it, and they both start countering each other's maneuvers. And Wolfgang pushes Connors out of the ring, and Connors hits a springboard DDT onto Wolfgang, covers him. Wolfgang kicks out, and then Connors goes for another move. I forget the name of the move, and then eventually Wolfgang hits something else afterwards. I think he hits the wasteland, and then he hits the Howland for the win. And that was the match. I thought it made sense to put Wolfgang over because the fans know him a little bit better because he's appeared on NXT and stuff like that a little bit more than Joesph Connors has. So I thought it made sense to put him over. He seems to be pretty over with the audience. And he's actually a pretty decent competitor. He's not a great competitor, but I think he's actually a pretty decent competitor. I think, you know, maybe after a few more matches he could become a great competitor. And eventually it would be nice if he could kind of be in contention for the United Kingdom Championship. So, yeah, I thought it was a good, solid opening matchup here. Okay, so next match was a tag team match. The Brian Kendrick and TJP versus Dunne Maloney, I think his name was, and Rich Swann. The Brian Kendrick and Rich Swann got huge reactions when they came out. TJP got nothing, and then Don Maloney, whatever the hell his name is, kind of got a reaction. He didn't really get much. once the match started, the people got behind him, but I think because people didn't really know who he was, he didn't get much of a reaction. But yeah, I get they wanted to incorporate the cruiserweights in here, but I'm just asking, maybe it's coming, I haven't watched the rest of the show yet. Why wouldn't they do Neville and Jack Gallagher since they're from the UK? You know, Neville is someone that people know very well, Jack Gallagher is someone that people would know very well. Why didn't they do them? Why wouldn't they include them instead of, like, I'm fine with having TJP just because he was, at the time this was, this aired, he was aligned with Neville, that would have made sense. And Jack Gallagher, you know, Kendrick, he belonged here, but Neville would have been a better choice, just in my opinion. But yeah, this was an average, I would say, tag team match. Nothing really bad. It was just there. TJP and Kendrick get the heat on Maloney for a while, and they beat the crap out of him. And then eventually, D-Brian Kendrick goes to tag in TJP so that way they can work over Maloney's arm. But instead, Maloney escapes, and TJP's not looking, and he's just torturing Kendrick's arm while he and he doesn't even notice it until eventually he sees Dan Maloney and Rich Swann over there laughing at him, and TJP realizes he messed up. He tries to apologize, and then eventually Dan Maloney starts dominating TJP. He hits a boot right off the head while TJP's is in the middle, is laid out in the middle rope, and then he tags in with Swann. With Swann gets in and gets some offense going, Dan Maloney backdrops with Swann onto both guys on the outside, and eventually Kendrick tags himself in, and he hangs with Swann up on the top rope, and the heels get the heat on with Swann for a while, and then eventually Dan Maloney gets the tagged in, and he starts going off on TJP, but then eventually they start getting the heat on him because TJP hits like a heel kick, and then TJP at one point hits a body slam into a springboard senton, and, well, slingshot senton, I should say. Then eventually Dan Maloney is able to get the hot tag on with Swann. With Swann starts getting some offense in. He hits a kick to the head on TJP, but then Kendrick from behind puts him into the captain's hook, and Dan Maloney is able to break it up. And then eventually he gets tagged in. Dan Maloney starts getting some offense in, and eventually behind the referee's back, TJP goes for the detonation kick. He gets thrown out of the ring, and then Kendrick hands up Dan Maloney on the apron, and not Kendrick but TJP, and then Kendrick rolls him up for the win, and then that was the match. I can kind of see why. I kind of don't get why TJP and Kendrick won, because Dan Maloney was the new guy. You needed to kind of get him over. And Kendrick and TJP really didn't have anything to gain from winning. I didn't really get why they didn't utilize Neville or Jack Gallagher, you know, throw them in a Cruiserweight Championship match together or something, because at least people, I think, would have gotten more behind it. The crowd was very good during this match, though. They chanted out a whole bunch of things. It got to the point where TJP, they were chanting things at TJP, and he was wrestling with his ears covered, which I thought was funny. Yeah, this match I thought was just an average tag team match. Okay, so next, Trent Seven gets interviewed once again, this time on the actual show, and he gets talked about his match with Wolfgang, and he talks about how his arms doesn't look good, but no bones are broken, it's just a couple of tendons, but he says that he's damned if he's going to give up the opportunity to compete for the United Kingdom Championship. And then Pete Dunne walks up to him, and they have a little bit of a face-off, and Trent Seven wishes him luck, and then he goes to walk away, and Pete Dunne slams his arm into the wall, and then that was it. Overall, I thought this was a good segment, really puts over Pete Dunne as a destroyer, and how he's opportunistic, sorry. So overall, I enjoyed this little segment here. Okay, so next, we have a little hype video package showing the build-up to the United Kingdom Championship #1 Contenders match. First, starting with Pete Dunne. You know, Pete Dunne talks about how since the United Kingdom Championship tournament, He's rubbed shoulders with the top stars of WWE like he belongs. He should have belonged all along. And he says that people are giving him the credit that he deserves during the United Kingdom Championship tournament. And he says that he's traveling the world to beat people up, but he also wants to win the United Kingdom Championship. And he says that he won't rest until he gets that United Kingdom Championship, and he'll do whatever it takes. Then Trent Seven introduces himself, and he talks about, you know, how he's a pretty fun-loving guy, but put me in a pair of trunks, and I will beat you up. He even says that you can throw everything that you can against me. I will get out of it and prevail. And he talks about how he's looking forward to the opportunity to become the #1 contender to the United Kingdom Championship. And Pete Dunne says that he needs the United Kingdom Championship. He says that it's his destiny to win it. And he says that he's going to do whatever it takes because he wants that United Kingdom Championship, and he wants to become the biggest star ever in WWE. Trent Seven says that that he may have a handsome face, but it's not complete because he wants to be the face of WWE, but it's not complete without the United Kingdom Championship. And he says that Pete Dunne's going to find out what it's like to be in the ring with him at the United Kingdom Championship special. Pete Dunne says that he's willing to do whatever it takes to get to NXT TakeOver Chicago to become the #1 contender to the United Kingdom Championship. Overall, I thought this video package was very well done. It was a nice way to build up to the #1 Contenders match. And now I'm going to sit down and watch the #1 Contenders match. Okay, so next match was a United Kingdom Championship #1 Contenders match. Pete Dunne versus Trent Seven. And you had Pete Dunne, who was the current Progress Wrestling champion. He actually came out with that championship, which was actually kind of cool, because it's very rarely that WWE really brings up other wrestling companies, you know, except like WCW and ECW and stuff, since they own the stuff, but you know what I mean. So I'm guessing they came up with some sort of deal where Pete Dunne was able to come out with the championship, with that championship. And I thought this was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. Even though I knew Pete Dunne was winning because it's already been announced ahead of time, I still really enjoyed this match. And even though sometimes when I watch a match, I get in disbelief because I'm caught up in the moment and stuff, I can't really explain it. But Pete Dunne and Trent Seven start chain wrestling each other. And Trent Seven, since his left arm was injured, he was all taped up, so he tried to keep that away from Pete Dunne. But yeah, they both start chain wrestling each other, where Pete Dunne kind of gets the advantage since Trent Seven's only got one arm. And eventually Trent Seven out of nowhere hits a chop, and you know, he kind of takes control. And then Pete Dunne's up on the top rope. Trent Seven pulls him down by the leg and catches him into a lariat. But then eventually Pete Dunne takes out Trent Seven's arm, and he really starts working over the injured arm. He works it over, and he bounces it off the steel steps, and he kicks it while he's in the steel steps, and Pete Dunne really just works over the arm of Trent Seven. Dunne puts it on the ground and just kicks it which I thought was really cool. And Pete Dunne dominates the matchup for a long ass time, just really working over the injured arm of Trent Seven. And I thought he hit some really nice moves there. Then eventually Trent Seven, he acts like he's going to go for a chop, but he instead hits a DDT on Dunne, and then he ends up making a little bit of a comeback. He hits a torpe through the ropes, and then he acts like you think he's going to come back, but Pete Dunne gets him into a Kimura. Not fully, but Trent Seven was able to get out of it. Pete Dunne hits an X-Plex, and Trent Seven kicks out of it. What else? Trent Seven hits a drop, hits a rolling elbow drop. Trent Seven goes for the 5-star lariat. Pete Dunne counters and hits a shot to the arm. Trent Seven hits a lariat anyways. He covers him. Pete Dunne kicks out. Trent Seven hits a drop kick, and eventually Pete Dunne throws Trent Seven on the outside, arm first into the barricade. He separates his fingers while he's on the outside, and he acts like he's going to go for an X-Plex again, but instead Trent Seven hits a dragon suplex on the apron, and both guys fall down, and you think they're going to get counted out, but the both are just barely able to get in the win in time. Trent Seven goes for the that move that he used, the that hammer move that he used to defeat Wolfgang. But Pete Dunne turns it into a power slam, and then eventually Trent Seven hits another dragon sleeper suplex off the turnbuckle, but Pete Dunne's able to land on his feet, which Trent Seven doesn't see, and he hits a wicked forearm, and then Trent Seven hits a clothesline, another lariat, and Trent Seven goes for the 5-star lariat, but Pete Dunne counters. He goes for that move, hammer move again, and Trent Seven turns it into the bitter end for the win. And Pete Dunne, I'm sorry, I meant Pete Dunne turns it into the bitter end for the win. But Pete Dunne's now the #1 contender to the United Kingdom Championship, which we've known for a few weeks now. And you know, it makes sense because the two got for 2 reasons. One, because the two guys that are in the United Kingdom Championship match in the main event are faces, and you kind of want to have an established heel. And two, they've also been pushing Pete Dunne really hard. It really wouldn't make sense that he didn't win. I think they're really behind him, so it kind of this helped validate his push. And since Trent Seven came in with an injured arm, that kind of would have look like crap if Pete Dunne lost. And afterwards, he gets on the mic and he says that now that he's the #1 contender, he's going to take what's rightfully his, and by any means necessary. So he's going to be facing the winner of the Tyler Bate Pete Dunne match. The winner of that match will be defending the title against him at NXT TakeOver Chicago. And another thing that made me excited about this match is that Jim Ross and Nigel McGuinness are going to be doing commentary for it, which really makes me look forward to that match because of the fact that you know, they've been great on commentary so far. Obviously, Jim Ross and Nigel McGuinness seem to have some great chemistry together on commentary. He's actually making Nigel McGuinness a better commentator overall because he seems good, but sometimes Nigel McGuinness forgets he's in WWE and thinks he's in Ring of Honor, but here he's been actually pretty good on commentary. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that match now, but we have one more match to end off the show. Okay, so next we had the build-up for the WWE United Kingdom Championship match between Tyler Bate and Mark Andrews. And Tyler Bate introduced himself. He talks about how he's the first ever United Kingdom champion, how much it means to him. You know, he says that he wants to hold on to that championship for a while and do great things with the championship. And he talks about how honored he was to win the United Kingdom Championship tournament. Then Mark Andrews talks about how when he came to WWE in January, he wanted to show everybody that he was the best wrestler in the world, and he came very close to making it to the finals of the United Kingdom Championship tournament. And he says that he now he's ready to be United Kingdom champion. Tyler Bate talks about how he knows Mark Andrews very well. They've wrestled each other before, and he expects Mark Andrews to bring his A game against Tyler Bate. Not Pete Dunne. Sorry, I messed up. Mark Andrews talks about how he's willing to bring all his high flying to do whatever it takes to be the United Kingdom champion and to show why he is the best wrestler in the world. And then that was pretty much the entire video package. I thought it was pretty well done. Okay, so then we had the main event. It was a United Kingdom Championship match. United Kingdom champion Tyler Bate versus Mark Andrews. I thought this was a good main event. Both men start chain wrestling each other. I thought they hit some nice chain wrestling moves on each other. Eventually, Mark Andrews gets a chancery on Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate lifts him up and puts him on the second turnbuckle, and he shakes his hand to kind of play a little bit of mind games with him and in order to be respectful. They continue chain wrestling each other. Tyler Bate hits a drop toe hold to get him into like a double knee ball, to which he reverses, which he turns into a half Boston Crab. I thought that was some cool stuff. Mark Andrews hits a drop kick out of the corner. Tyler Bate hits a Hurricanrana, and he goes for the Tyler Driver 97, but Mark Andrews reverses it into a Hurricanrana roll-up. But Tyler Bate kicks out. Mark Andrews starts to get some offense in, and he gets a couple of arm drags in, and Tyler Bate gets some himself. They both go for drop kicks at the same time. Mark Andrews hits a Hurricanrana outside the ring. He hits a plancha like over the top rope, and then he puts him in the ring, covers him. Tyler Bate kicks out. Mark Andrews hits a wheelbarrow roll up, but Tyler Bate kicks out. He hits a roll through into a double stomp. Tyler Bate kicks out again, and then Tyler Bate hits a uppercut in the corner onto Mark Andrews, a suicide dive through the ropes, and he starts to make his comeback, but eventually Mark Andrews throws Tyler Bate outside he hits an enziguri on Tyler Bate, which allows him to roll on the outside. Mark Andrews goes for the Golden Star Moonsault or whatever it's called, and Mark Andrews and Tyler Bate catches him, like he's gonna power slam him, but Tyler Bate turns it into a DDT on the outside, and Mark Andrews goes for a rolling something in the ring, but Tyler Bate turns it into a uppercut. Mark Andrews hits a Hurricanrana. Tyler Bate kicks out. Tyler Bate starts to do his comeback. He hits a Mark Andrews went for like a superplex. Tyler Bate was going for like a superplex. Mark Andrews was going for a superplex. Tyler Bate pushes him off, and he crotches him up on the top rope, and he hits a European uppercut off the middle turnbuckle. Mark Andrews kicks out. Mark Andrews hits a what else? I'm trying to remember every spot. Tyler Bate goes for a fireman's carry off the top turnbuckle, but Mark Andrews turns it into a Hurricanrana. Tyler Bate hits the airplane spin, and he acts like he knocks himself out. He's going to go for it again. Mark Andrews turns it into a reverse Hurricanrana, covers him. Tyler Bate kicks out. Tyler Bate hits a clothesline, and he bounces off the ropes and hits like an uppercut on him, and an uppercut, and Mark Andrews kicks out of that. They both start chaining right hands, and Tyler Bate uses Bop and Bane to knock out Mark Andrews. What else? There was something else I wanted to say that happened in this match that I don't want to make sure I miss. Mark Andrews, Tyler Bate went for a suplex. Mark Andrews turns it into a stunner. He goes for the shooting star press, but Tyler Bate turns it into a knee to the gut, and then he hits the Tyler Driver 97 after he hits the rolling kick for the win. And Tyler Bate hits a super kick on him as well too in this match, which I thought was great. But Tyler Bate retains the United Kingdom Championship, and afterwards Mark Andrews is being helped to the back. Pete Dunne comes out and he just throws Mark Andrews on the ground like he's a sack of shit, which I thought was awesome. And then William Regal comes out to make sure this match is protected for NXT TakeOver Chicago. So instead, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate have a face-off. William Regal standing right in between them to make sure the match the show doesn't break down in the chaos. Pete Dunne puts his hand out like he wants to shake it, but Tyler Bate doesn't shake his hand, and the show ends with this face-off. And now it's official at NXT TakeOver Chicago. It's going to be Tyler Bate defending the United Kingdom Championship against Pete Dunne. I know the show's already happened, but I haven't seen it yet, so I'm talking as if this is currently happening. And I'm stoked for that match, though. You know, these two wrestled in the finals of the United Kingdom Championship tournament. They have storyline reason for fighting. You know, they've been really pushing Pete Dunne. Tyler Bate's been a great United Kingdom champion, and the match they had at the United Kingdom Championship tournament I thought was a really good match, but I expect the match at NXT TakeOver Chicago to be better because they're actually going to be 100% and stuff, and I especially now can't wait for it, knowing the fact that Jim Ross and Nigel McGuinness are going to be doing commentary for it, because I thought they were doing great. I hope they commentate the entire NXT TakeOver Chicago show, just because that would be awesome, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, that was the main event, and overall I thought it was a really good main event. Okay, so now I'm going to give you guys my overall thoughts on the show, but before I do that, I want to do my star ratings for each match. I'm going to try to go off memory. For the Sam Gradwell Pete Dunne match, I'll probably give that match 3 stars. I thought that was actually a good, solid match. Pete Dunne's matches I always actually enjoy, so that match probably is getting 3 stars. For the Trent 7 Wolfgang match, I'm probably going to give that match 2 stars and 2 3/4 stars, because I thought that was a good rematch that they had. Then the opening match, then the actual show itself. For the Wolfgang Joesph Connors match, I'll probably give that match 2.5 stars. I thought it was actually a good opening matchup to help set the pace of the show. One spot I forgot to talk about in that match is when Joesph Connors went to do the crossbody off the top rope and Wolfgang turned it into like a gut buster. I thought that was really cool. Then for the tag team match, I'm probably going to give that match 2 stars. That was just an average tag match where the wrong team ended up going over. Didn't have the right competitors in it. So I'm probably just going to give that match 2 stars. Wasn't a bad match, though. For the United Kingdom Championship #1 Contenders match, I'll probably give that match 3.5 stars. I thought it was actually a really good match. It had some good storyline elements where Trent 7, you weren't sure was going to overcome the odds because of his injured arm. I thought Pete Dunne came off the way he should have. That was just a really good match. And then for the main event for the United Kingdom Championship match, I'll probably give that match 3 stars. It was just a good overall back and forth match. So those are my star ratings. I'm going to put those in the description box down below. And then continuing, my thoughts on this show is I actually thought this was a good wrestling show to sit through. It wasn't anything fantastic, but it just did a good job showcasing wrestling. It feels like maybe they're going to finally start to go somewhere with this United Kingdom Championship, because they weren't really doing a whole lot. After a while, it feels like maybe they're going to finally start to go somewhere with it. And, I thought just the atmosphere of this show was good with the crowd and stuff. And obviously the commentary team was just outstanding. I'm really happy they brought in Jim Ross to commentate this show. And I think actually Nigel McGuinness this was probably the best he's ever done commentating in WWE. And I think Jim Ross brought out a good commentator out of him. And I can't wait to see them be on commentary at NXT TakeOver Chicago. I just thought overall this was a good show. I'll probably rate it a 7.5 out of 10. So overall a good show. But that's pretty much it, guys. Please make sure to check out my CM Brothers and Owen the Talkinator YouTube channels, because I just uploaded a video on those 2 channels yesterday. And please make sure to check out this channel for future content. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later. All right.